Welcome back, everybody, to top 16. We have Queen versus Croc. This is the same Croc player that we just saw in the last round, but Queen is about the last holdout of set 4. It was it was a massacre. Top 32 was a massacre for the set 4 decks. The Queen player was actually matched against undefeated Rebecca yesterday and ended up winning that one. So I don't believe there are any more Rebeccas remaining. And I also did not see any Dofis remaining. So we're going to go ahead and watch Queen versus Croc as our top 16 here. Set 1, well, actually preset 1 versus set 4. Queen is a very cool deck that we only got to see once yesterday, so I'll remind you all of what it does. It's a Don 1 when attacking. If the total number of cards in your life and hand combined is 4 or less, you draw a card. But if you have an 8 cost or more in play, you get to place that card in your life instead of drawing it. So, Queen, again, magic number is 4. Looking to have 4 cards total between the life and the hand. And then you can get in a loop where you just heal 1 damage every turn, and we see that Croc has difficulties really putting multiple characters on the board if he doesn't see Centauro. So Queen can get in a position where Croc can only deal 1 damage a turn, and Queen heals 1 damage a turn. So, so we will see. That will be much later in the game, though. Croc has all the boss monsters, as we saw in the last game, but Queen also has quite a significant number of boss monsters. We have Yamatos, we have Mihawks as well, we have Red Rocks, we have answers for days for each other's monsters. So this will be very interesting. Croc can kind of keep Queen on lower life to try to make Yamato not as good, but Katakuri can come down to keep Croc on higher life to keep Yamato being very good. We do see a Dofi come down, and we've got Senti, Red Rock, a Mihawk. Gonna go ahead and put the Centauro on top, followed by the Pacifista. Very interesting. Okay, Queen's gonna go ahead and attack Croc. And we're gonna see Croc counter out. And then we're gonna 1,000 worlds, sorry, 3,000 worlds, the Dofi blocker. Queen just wants to keep the game pretty slow, pretty calm for a while. No reason to let the Dofi stick around. Nothing else you're going to do with your turn, and really needs to get the cards out of the hand. All right, we're going to see a trigger pop off there, Brûlé. Brûlé is just like the Boa from the Croc starter deck, actually. Just plays itself from life and is a blocker. Queen goes to 6 Dawn. Centauro on the board. Now you kind of wish you had that 3,000 worlds to answer the Centauro. We're going to see 5 come across the table. That'll go ahead and hit. And then we're going to red rocket. Very interesting. Queen knows that these cards need to come out of the hand because eventually we want to get to the point where we have 4. Okay, we got 8 coming across the table. And Queen's going to go ahead and get out of that with a Beige and a Kaya. Then we're just going to slam Pacifista. Alright, Queen's going to go ahead and swing for 5. And then put Katakuri down on the table. Let's make the Pacifista go away. We're going to put that at the bottom. Just tuck that right down there. You'll be seeing him again in quite a while. Alright, well, we do have the Red Rock to answer the Katakuri. Katakuri is an 8-drop, which means that Mihawk is not quite strong enough to handle him. So it is going to have to be met with a red rock. This is where Croc is going to struggle into this match simply because Queen's boss monsters cost 8 or more by virtue of the effect that Queen needs them to cost 8 or more. So now we see Queen going to 10 Dawn, and this is a turn where we could see another boss monster come down, potentially. With nothing on the board to remove, there's no value, no real incentive for Queen to slam Yamato or slam Katakuri or slam Mihawk, but Queen might do it anyway, just to get the card out of the hand and get the body on the board.
Table
We're going to see
82, you can
6 come
place your
across
deck
the table.
box. Table 82 in the chopper side of it.
That does, in fact, deal 1 damage. And then will we just see a Mihawk or a Yamato drop? No, we're going to pass the turn with 9 Dawn up, I think. No, okay, good. Here comes Mihawk. The hand motion there made it look like he was passing. And we just tempo Mihawk. Tempo Mihawk is pretty fine in this matchup. Again, Queen needs to get to 4, and you can't do that with a Mihawk in your hand. I agree. I agree with this Mihawk play. We're going to see 8 come across the table. Do we have a trigger? We have 1 bad day, Sanji. Hold on. Telling him, hold on, I have to discard a card. So Queen needs to get rid of a card in hand. Looks like Queen has 5 cards in hand at the moment. So this will go down to 4. Big think here. What do? I'm gonna drop the new 10-drop Kaido out of the hand. And then red rock the Mihawk. Croc only has so many red rocks though. Croc definitely might struggle into this match just because of all the very big boss monsters. Queen goes to low life, but then heals back. Could very easily see something along the lines of swing with the Sanji and then put it back in your life with Katakuri. We're not going to see that now because we see Dofi come down, but those are the kinds of possibilities that exist with Queen. Doflamingo, very powerful in the Queen deck because if your leader is online, you actually just get to pick what shield trigger you want. Do I want a Beige? Do I want a One Bad Day Sanji? Well, there it is. It takes all the guesswork out of shield triggers. Speaking of One Bad Day Sanji, we're going to play another one. Now, the reason to do that here is because it allows Queen to use the effect to draw a card. No 8-drop on the board, can't really heal, but it was a little risky playing the cards into Croc's potential shield triggers. But again, you kind of have to do that so you get your value off your leader. Okay, we're going to see Big Kaido come down. There's a lot of blockers on the board. We're going to go ahead and put the Dofi and the One Bad Day Sanji back in the hand. 10-drop Kaido, of course, hits an 8-drop and a 3-drop, so he couldn't put both of the Sanjis back in hand. Okay, we see Queen come across the table for 5. And then we're going to red rock. We're going to go ahead and put that away. You know what, Croc? You have red rocked everything I have played, so I will proceed to red rock everything you play. We've got these Sanjis just sort of chilling on the board, ready to block if they need to, ready to attack if they need to. Croc can make them go away, but it won't necessarily mean much. We're going to see a Beige come out of the hand there. And then Mihawk comes down. Let's go ahead and get rid of one of the Sanjis. Croc has the option here to use the leader ability to put the other Sanji back in hand, and that's what he's going to go ahead and do. And then pass turn. And if you're the Croc player here, you're really hoping your opponent doesn't have another red rock. And if you're the queen player here, you really hope you have another red rock. All the red rocks keeping queen off an 8-drop or more really keeps queen off of the heel, which matters quite a bit. Queen still gets to draw cards when attacking, but not healing matters a lot in a matchup against Crocodile where it's 1, maybe 2 damage a turn. Okay, we're going to pay 3 for a Brulee. And then we're going to go across the table for 6. Go ahead and net ourselves another card to hand. Croc is going to go ahead and counter to 7. And then pass turn. Ooh. I tell you, I have not seen so many Mihawks in my day as watching Crocs play. Crocs always have the Mihawks. I see 9 come across the table there. We do see a pound on the board, but with no 3-drops, Croc doesn't really lose anything to the pound. If Croc plays the Miss All Sunday, though, the pound can put it in life on KO. Okay, we're gonna see Miss All Sunday and Sentamaru come down, and then the turn get passed. So Croc is trying to find his footing, trying to get bodies on the board that can stay on the board. Sentamaru and Miss All Sunday are weak to the pound effect, but he can always use his leader effect if he really needs to put the pound back in hand. All right, we have a big think from Queen here. The Mihawk has managed to survive a turn cycle. So now it's a little bit of a struggle for the Queen. We're going to have to play down this Katakuri. And we're probably going to have to get rid of the Miss All Sunday. That's exactly what we're going to do. The Miss All Sunday gets back a red rock. So that needs to go to the very bottom. And then we're going to put 2 on the Queen, and we're going to swing. And we do have the ability to heal 1 this turn, so we're going to. And then that will deal a damage. Croc definitely wants to get back to that Miss All Sunday, but probably not in too much of a hurry to do it. Now the Katakuri just sort of exists on the board now. And if Croc cannot answer the Katakuri, then Queen has established the heal loop. So really need some way to answer the Katakuri or present enough threats on the board that you can ignore it. Ignore Queen's ability to heal.
Winnabox runner up to the front, please. Winnabox runner up to the front, please.
Okay, so we see Croc goes ahead and uses its leader effect, meaning that he can't Mihawk next turn. We're going to go Sentamaru swing 5.
And we have Winnabox 62 up to the stage, please. Winnabox 62 up to the stage, please, with your judge.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and grab the blocker. And then just go 5 across the table. There's still a 9 after this, so Queen probably wants to get out of this attack if he can. And he will. Go ahead and use that Sanji to get out of it. That 9 is probably going to be a damage. The question, is it a trigger? Looks like Queen has one card in hand. It looks like it's probably a trigger. Queen is thinking about it. It might be one of the cards that play from life for you to discard a card. And so, do you want to go to 0 cards in hand with this Mihawk on the board with a blocker to protect it? Gonna go ahead and add it to hand, then we're just gonna play down another Sentimaru. So Croc really has found his footing now. Queen finally getting a boss monster to stick to the board. But will it be enough? Is it too late? If Queen can answer a lot of these threats, starting with the Sentimaru, then there is the opportunity to just maintain that heal loop. And watch as Croc struggles to deal enough damage through a turn before Queen is just back to full power. With 9 Dawn remaining, something like a Mihawk or a Katakuri coming down here would mean that the other Mihawk is fairly safe. I mean, I guess you could Katakuri the Pacifista and then hope your opponent doesn't have any counter and go 9k. We're gonna see Kata come down. Kata's probably gonna hit either Pacifista or the Sentimaru. Sentimaru is definitely a very good choice here. So Sentimaru to the bottom of the life, and then probably just gonna pass. You don't really want to give your opponent the chance to swing with the Mihawk on the board, but maybe it's worth it. We're going to go ahead and discard this Sogeking. Worth the shot. Now, of course, the Mihawk can attack very favorably on the Katakuri here and clear one of the boss monsters. We're going to see 7 come across the table at Queen. It's also true that we could just win the game this turn. And in fact, Croc looks like he's going for it. Okay, this is where you need something very, very powerful because okay, we're going to Red Rock the Pacifista. And I think that this is going to be game right here with an 11. And yep, that will end it. My goodness, I think that was the 4th Mihawk in life.
Table 89 in the 12 p.m. chopper, please report. Table 89, please report.
So Crocodile ends up taking that game. It was a very grindy match for sure. And that's kind of what we can expect here. Crocodile just wants to keep Queen off boss monsters. A blocker there off of the life would not have saved the Queen because you still have your leader's ability to Dawn -4, put something back in the hand. So unfortunately, if you couldn't get out of the 7k, you had lost the match there, or the game, I suppose. And that's what it came down to. So now both players going to go ahead and shuffle up and get ready for game 3. We'll see if Queen wants to go first or second. Queen. Queen probably wants to go second in this match, I would imagine, just to be on the even curve. It's an interesting position because if you're on the odd curve, then you have access to all of your boss monsters on that 9 Dawn turn, and Kata can let you even use your leader effect if you've reduced your hand size down and your opponent has reduced your life size down. I guess there are merits to both sides. As far as Croc,
Coming
Croc
in winner
just wants
box
to play his same
63.
game.
Meet by the stage, please. Winner box 63. If you can meet by the stage, please.
Croc just wants to play his same game. He just wants to see Sentimaru on about 6 Dawn or so. Play some Pacifistas, Red Rock the opponent's big guys, Mihawk the opponent's little guys, and call it a day into top 8. That's what Croc's looking to do in this game. This is slower match, and Queen does start with lower life, so if Queen does win this game, time may be a factor. So hopefully the Queen player will be aware of that. Table was a little shaky there. I think we might have a person who shakes their leg compulsively like I do. All right, Queen's going to keep the hand. Looks like Croc is thinking about it. Oh, we see a double Mihawk in hand, I believe. Tough to tell. Definitely think you throw that hand back. I think 2 Mihawks is too many to start the game with. 1 Mihawk isn't too bad, especially in a slower match, but 2 of them not super great. Lots of pressure, just dropping cards all over the place. It happens. Again, this is top 16, you know. Top 8's a pretty big deal. There's a lot on the line. Croc's up a game, but the nerves, the jitters, they're definitely gonna come about. All right, Croc's gonna go ahead and go to 5 cards in hand and 5 life. All right, Croc's gonna be forced to go first. Queen pass, and then probably gonna see Dofi come down this turn for Croc. 3-drop blocker Dofi after a 5 swing, of course. Queen incentivized to counter out. Again, you just want to kind of melt your hand down, melt your life down until you get to a situation where you have boss monsters on the board and you heal every turn and your opponent just falls out of advantage. Now that is a powerful 5 cards on the top of the deck. My goodness. I'm not going to name them off just in case they can hear me at all, but that is a strong 5. That is a very strong 5 for sure. Definitely going to keep those on top. We're going to see 5 come across the table. Croc decides to get out of it with the Pacifista. Queen plays down one bad day Sanji. We're going to go ahead and pass our turn. Okay, we're going to put 2 Dawn on Croc and go 7 across the table. And that'll trigger a Boa. We're going to play down this Sentimaru and pass turn. So Queen on 6 Dawn. We might see a 3,000 Worlds come down and put the Sentimaru at the bottom. Could even see a Red Rock, I suppose. But Queen might want to hold on to those Red Rocks for something a little bit bigger and more Mihawk sized. We're going to see 3 tap for a Dofi blocker. Oh, does this mean the Sentimaru is going to get to see the light of day on the next turn? You can really spiral out of control if that happens. All right, Queen just thinking about what order do these cards need to be in? Still big think for sure. All right, and we've resolved the Dofi now. We're gonna go ahead and pay three for pound. Interesting. Okay, so the pound is here and says if you don't have a removal spell, big ask, but if you don't, then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bottom deck that or bottom life that Centauro. And if you do have a removal spell, well, you're gonna have to use it on pound. And because he's blue croc, the answer is of course I have a removal spell. I don't know why you thought I wouldn't.
10 a.m. Chopper, your round two.
And then we
Parents
get
have been posted.
Centauro.
10 a.m. Chopper, round two is now up.
Probably gonna get the blocker here. And then maybe swing with the Centauro. We are entering boss monster turns. We're gonna go ahead and grab the 4 cost 6k. Alright. And now we're just gonna go ahead and go 5 across the table. Could block it, could counter out, could take it. Those are pretty much the 3 options anytime something attacks. Queen's gonna go ahead and choose to take it, and we're gonna get a brulee off of that as well. All the blockers in the life this time. If you're queen, you really love to see it. Okay, we're gonna see a Senti come across the table. Just a 5. Alright, and then queen going into 8 Dawn. So we're definitely we're starting our boss monster turns here. If we have a Katakuri, we could put the 4-drop in the life. We could do some attacking on the Sentomaru. Looks like we're gonna go in 3000 worlds. We probably don't have Kata in that case. But it's okay. We're queen. We have a lot of other boss monster options. And in fact, here's a Dofi to look at that deck again and see which boss monster I'd like next turn. This might also put Queen on that magic number of 4. So Queen would be looking at which card Queen wants to add to hand this turn. There is no 8 drops, there is no life add, there's no heal. But getting to look and see what you want to draw. Maybe you want to draw a little bit of combo power. So question is, do we? We do in fact have that magic number of 4. So we're gonna go ahead and grab a free draw out of it. And we're gonna protect the Sentomaru. And then the Sentomaru goes down on the 5k swing. Um, that's interesting. It's interesting to discard 3k combo power or counter power on the card just to let it fall on the very next attack. It might have just been better to let it fall, period, unless your goal was to get the Sanji to attack. But with 4 other blockers on the board, the Sanji's probably not going down so easily. He does go down very easily to Mihawk, of course. Okay, so Queen is going to go ahead, draw a card, and we're going to see if Queen has a red rock. Does Queen have the answer for the Mihawk, or does Queen just decide to play down a boss monster? We could go Yamato here. Yamato clears a 6, so Yamato clears a Dofi. And then we can, let's see, we had 4 last turn, draw to 5, draw for turn to 6. So we probably cannot get to the Queen effect this turn. So we're not even going to bother trying to get to the Queen effect. Go ahead and swing. A block here is not the worst idea in the world. We're going to go ahead and take it, and oh boy, oh boy. That life happened to be exactly the red rock that answers the Yamato. That is unfortunate for Queen for sure, and very fortunate for Croc. Croc loves to see when that happens. Go ahead, just Mihawk swing. There are too many blockers on the board to even consider putting Dawn on it. We're just going to let it go across the table. We're going to put 1 on the leader, swing 6. See if we can't burn a 2k out of the hand. Then we're probably going to red rock and Dofi. We're going to go ahead and burn the 2k out of hand, then we red rock, and then we Dofi. Unless he has a Centauro that he wants to establish. Nope, we're going to go Dofi. Look at the top 5 cards for more red rocks. And you see exactly what goes to the top of the hand there. And now Queen is going to want to establish another boss monster, and Croc is going to want Queen to establish another boss monster. Croc is also not without boss monsters. We see Mihawk and 10-drop Kaido in hand. So these Dofis could just disappear if they want. We're going to go ahead and kata the Dofi away. And then we're going to put 2 on the Queen. Are we at the magic number 4 or are we at 5? We're at 4, so we're going to go ahead and heal. Going back up to 3 life, definitely buying more turns. And then we're going to draw. Now it's no surprise on this one. Alright, well, we already know 6 mana is gone for the turn, so here's 9 across the table. That'll happen. And 1 bad day Sanji. That's very good for the Queen player because it is a removal of 2 cards from the magic number of 4. The Sanji comes from life into play, and the Sanji discards a card. This will help Queen maintain that 4 or less very well, though Croc can interfere with that. We're going to see 5 come across the table. Queen has 1 whole card in hand. It might be blocking time here. Queen desperately needs this Katakuri to stay on the board. Unfortunately, it's not going to be like that. So we see the Red Rock come down. You know, so far in Top Cut today, Red Rock has been deciding games. So we see the Red Rock. Now, will we see Croc put the Sanji back in hand? No, we will not. And it's probably because of Croc's hand right now. You can see that it's got, it looks like Sogeking, Senta, and 10-drop Kaido. So we want to have access to that Kaido. Once Queen fails to find a boss monster, then the Kaido can come down. Just to be a 12k on the board and sort of wrap the game up pretty efficiently. Queen really needed to draw a red rock here. You do get 1 more opportunity at it, though. So we're going to swing. We're going to draw. And it's just 7. Croc's gonna go ahead and take it. And that's a Miss All Sunday, which is as good as a Red Rock one turn later. Looks like we have a Sogeking in Queen's hand. I can see Usopp's little slingshot there. Go ahead and put the Pacifista back in hand. Croc, not really bothered by this. It is one less attacker on the board, but we still have to weed our way through these blockers. Need to go ahead and trash 2 of the cards in hand. The problem is we found a boss monster and a red rock, and we'd like to keep both of them, but we don't get that option. It's too bad Sogeking doesn't just say draw 2 cards. Gonna go ahead and probably discard the hand, the 3 cards. There's an argument for each one of them. The Sanji has counter power, the red rock gets rid of the Mihawk, and the boss monster is a boss monster. So we're going to go for the boss monster is a boss monster line, which makes sense because you want to be able to heal. And then, honestly, I agree with this. Attack with the Sanji. Horrible things are going to happen to that Sanji no matter what you do. Okay, so we're on 10 Dawn. We might just see the big boy himself come down. We're going to go ahead and try to remove this Sanji. And it's gone. Unsurprising, Queen only has 1 card in hand. We're going to go 9 at life. We're trying to get one of these Dofi blockers probably, or do the damage. Gonna go ahead and get a Dofi blocker, and then you know what? We're gonna go ahead and clean that board up. Right back to your hand, please. Go ahead. So, 10 drop Kaido, 9 drop Mihawk, and no shot to play 2 Red Rocks. So Queen is in a very bad position now. The boss monster race has been decided. Croc is in the lead. So Queen has a few problems now. The Kaido not only presents itself as a 10 mana 12k, it just put 4 cards in hand total and 2 life. So even if Queen plays a boss monster this turn, Queen cannot get to the magic number of 4.
Runner, up
We're
to the
on
front,
6.
please.
So this Kaido is more than just a setback of putting a Sogeking and a Dofi in hand. It is far more. It prevents Queen from healing
Winner box
entirely.
64 up to the stage, please. Winner box 64 up to the stage, please.
So we're just going to see Queen go 5k across the table. Croc's just going to get rid of Sogeking. We're going to play a Dofi. We're going to look at the top cards of our deck, and we, wow, we see several Dofis in the top there. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough. Even if Croc doesn't have any removal at all, Croc can pay for Dawn for anything, or just get rid of it immediately to put the Dofi back in the hand, and then go across the table with 9s and 11s and 12s and clean it up unless there's a blocker in life, which is very possible. This is still Queen. There are still a lot of triggers. We're going to see Sogeking come down. Gonna draw 2, discard 2. It is return up to 1 character with a cost of 6 or less, so he does not have to bounce anything. Right now, though, they are questioning if he does not bounce something, does he not draw two cards? So, not going to return anything, draw two cards. It's good to check those things, especially when you have the judge right there. Figure out how they work. It can be confusing sometimes with these niche situation rulings. And that's one reason that the stream judge is there, right next to the game, making sure the integrity of the game is maintained and also being able to answer rulings on the fly so that it doesn't slow the stream down. Okay, we see Mihawk go ahead and clean the Dofi off, and we've got Kaido swing pretty free damage on the Kaido. We're going to see a 7 come across the table. Queen would really like to get out of this, but the question is, can he? The answer is yes. And then we're going to go ahead and put two more blockers down on the table. We've got the Kuma, who is a blocker, and on KO he can play a Pacifista, and we have the Pacifista, who is a blocker, and you can play as many of them in the deck as you want. We call that a meta cooler in Dragon Ball. We're going to see a Katakuri come down, probably too little too late at this point, but we do get to heal. That might matter. Now what's really interesting is we could put this Sogeking back in our hand. Or not our hand, sorry, back in our life, just to buy an attack. So we could have swung with the Sogeking and then put it back, but we will put the Pacifista on top. The the monster you know better than the monster you don't. You know the Pacifist is there. You don't know what the other card is. Then we're going to see 7 go across the table at the leader. Going to go ahead and heal 1. Hope it's a good one. And Croc's just going to go ahead and take it. Like, you gave me a free life, sure. We're going to counter out of the Sogeking. No consideration needed on that. Turn pass. Now this is the loop that we were talking about, how
Ryan,
Queen
Tyler, and Ying,
Queen
your
can
winner
heal the
box is ready to
damage
fire
that
on the
Croc
stage.
deals, but with no blockers on the board and one card in hand, Queen is going to need some Brûlés out of life. Good, still need another one. That's check number 1. Unfortunately, Croc is going to go ahead and pay for this Pacifist to put that back in hand. So that's check number 1. We're gonna need another one. So we're gonna go 7 across the table at the Queen. I need something. I believe that is another red rock, which does not answer Kaido. It does answer the other attacker, but unfortunately 16 is just too big for 2 cards. And so that is it. We have a clean 2-0 from Crocodile, showing that mono blue boss monsters are better than blue yellow boss monsters, apparently. Very nice. Very clean game. Very, very interesting to see Starter Croc being so powerful. And now Starter Croc is about to dive into a sea of red. And so I wonder how Starter Croc is going to do against the mass of new gates and laws. But we'll see. We are going to go ahead and wrap up top 16 now. We will be moving into top 8 shortly. In case you were curious, these were the top 16 players. We have a Queen, a Croc, a Zoro, another Croc, a Katakuri, I believe that is. They're using the alt art leader there. I think that's Katakuri though. Law, Newgate, Law, Katakuri, Newgate, Law, Newgate, Newgate, Newgate. So, um, yeah, there is definitely a lot of red here. We have a few standouts that aren't red. We have a Croc progressing. We'll see which other ones are. We'll update this and show you guys when we move into top 8. but we will be back very shortly. We'll see you then.